Hey, welcome back, y'all. So today we're talking about a fundamental concept in React, which is props, or known as properties. And then in addition to that, we're going to be talking about numbers, strings, and booleans within TypeScript. Check this out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is have our main TSX file. So this is just going to activate the virtual DOM for us for React. And we have our app TSX, and then we have our video card as well. Now our video card TSX is where we're going to create our template for how the data is going to get stored, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that we're hard coding items in here. What I'm going to do is create a shell so that you can see how data would be passed into this via fetch API so that you can see where the data would go. Right? We're not going to actually pass the data here. We're going to pass the data and input it manually within the app TSX file so that you can see what it looks like when we're actually visualizing it within the local host. But here is going to be the body, the template of it. So the first thing we're going to do is insert type. So think of it as defining a column name. And then we're going to go ahead and create our component. So we're going to call this card props. Now you can see that it's actually Pascal case, which is going to be each word is capitalized here. And then after that, what we're going to do is type in equals. We're going to open up with curly brackets. And then you can see IntelliSense is automatically saying, hey, these are some things you can do, right? But we want to do things the way we want to do them. So we're going to put title. So title is going to be the video that we're going to have as a title, which is going to be a string format. Okay. And then it actually knows exactly what I want to type. So the next one is going to be views. So views obviously are going to be a number format. And the next one is going to be is published. We'll just kind of run that one and keep it. So it's already giving me an error, right? Saying card props is defined but never used. That just basically means, hey, you created an object that has all these different things stored in it within this object here, but you're not actually using it anywhere in the block of code, right? Now we're going to do that just later down the road here within this segment. But what I have here is going to be the title. So those are properties. So it's going to be a string. So each title within the video card that we're making is going to be a string format. The views are going to be a number format. And then is published is going to be that boolean format. Boolean meaning true or false. So is it published or is it not published? And then the next thing we're going to do here is now actually create our first function. So we're going to say export. And the reason we're saying export is because this unlocks the component so our main app can actually use it. So after that, we want to say function. So what's the function actually going to be called? We're going to call it video card. Now, just keep in mind, the function name is not the same as card props. Why? Because this is something completely new, but it's going to ingest card props. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to open up parentheses. We have to open up curly bracket. And then we have to define everything that we want inserted into the video card function. So we're going to say title. We're going to say views and is published. And remember, sentence casing is very important here. And then we're going to close that up with a curly bracket. Then we're going to put a colon. And then we're going to say, hey, where is this coming from? So this is coming from card props. And then we close that up with the parentheses because that's defining all this. And once again, spelling is important here, so that's why you probably see an error. And now we have to open up our function. And then now the error message I'm getting here is saying all destructed elements are not used. And that's fine because we haven't defined exactly how we're going to use them yet. Okay, so what we have to do is now type in return, and we're going to return the exact format that we want. Okay, so how do you want the information displayed in this template? Now we don't have any CSS here because we don't have any formatting done, coloration, all that kind of stuff. We're just doing the template of the information on how it's going to be received. And then we're going to push it to the app so that we can then run it on the local host. So we're going to say div, and div is essentially going to open up our structure that we want for the body of it. We're going to say h1, and this is going to be our HTML portion of this. And it's automatically going to add the second closing segment of h1, right? So you can see that. And they're defined by this backward slash as you're seeing here. And within it, I want to write title. And my title is going to be my heading, which is H1. And now what do I want below it? So below it, I probably want my paragraph, which is P, to be views. So I'm going to write that. And then below that, I'm going to put another P, and that's going to be is published. I'm going to open that with curly brackets. I'm going to press tab because I already knows exactly what I want. Okay, so for here, this is where it gets tricky. So for status, we have a logic check. So we can't show a user for the word true or false. So we have a ternary operator. So it basically asks, is it published? And then if it's not published, show something else. So what else do we want to show? We can't write natively an if statement within TypeScript. We have to write it this way within an operator. And especially since there's no data yet, this is a format, the template, the body that we're making for the data to be passed through. So in order to do the ternary operator, we have to do a question mark. And then now we have to define exactly what we want to see here. So either we want to say published, and then if not published, we're going to put a colon and we're going to put draft. And then now we have to close up that with the curly brackets. And now we see everything within our entire function in our prop here up top, right? So this basically allows us to get every different type of structure. So we have strings, we have numbers, and we have booleans all within our properties up here. And then we have our function for our video card that's going to receive our card props information. And then we're going to allow it to run through this HTML format within this entire TypeScript file. So imagine the days where you've been working in Excel, right? So you would usually say sum equals A1 plus A2. Now you don't always know what A1 and A2 equals, but you know that you want to return the result of it. So think of what we're doing in that exact format. So we're just creating the formula for all the data to fit into, so it always has the equation built and it can return the result every time. So also think about when Amazon or some other company has cards and you're doing shopping online, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're hard coding every single item. They have things like this built out and APIs built out from their database so that it can fetch all the inventory data and auto map it within their application, right? They just have the construct set up so that it can pass through successfully. So this is exactly what we're doing. All right, so now that we have our video card construct set up, we're now actually going to run it within the app, and I'm going to simulate some text hard-coded in it just so you can see what it looks like based upon our template here. All right, so now I'm on my app TSX file. So we're going to receive the video card TypeScript file, and we're doing that because we split up different file types. The app is going to be the main thing that runs everything, so it receives all your different TypeScript files that you have running. First thing we're going to do is type in import, and we want to declare it. So we want to say video card. So we want to bring in video card, and we want to bring it in from where exactly? We want to bring it in from the TypeScript file of video card. And now it's going to say video card is defined but never used, and that's fine, right? We already dealt with that within the other TypeScript file. We're just going to keep it moving. So next thing we're going to do is the same exact thing. We're going to say export. We're going to say default this time, function, and then app, and then we're going to return. And what do we want to return? So we have to define that now. But just to summarize real quick, right? So we're exporting because we're bringing in something from somewhere, and it's not static to just this one TypeScript file. We're going to call the function app. So this is the very first function we're declaring, and we can know that because it's yellow. And then we have our return function, which is going to specify exactly what we want to be provided back to us within the virtual DOM, right? So here we're going to say division. You can see how it's indented as well, and it automatically creates a closing division argument. This is the HTML piece of this now. And then now we're going to define the actual video card that we have up here. So we're going to say video card. And then just to help a little bit with the indentation, what we're going to do is call title here, and we're going to say learning React. That sounds good to me. We're going to say views is 1500, is published is true. We're going to keep that going. I don't think that's an issue there. So we're just going to have two of them. All right. And then now we just clicked on tab and it automatically ingested all this information for it. So we have one that's true, we have one that's false, right? And once again, this is simulating that you're fetching the data from the database. I'm just showing you how it would look like if you had it hard coded in, but I'm only doing that so that you can see it, what it looks like when I'm actually running it on the local host. So I have everything set up here now. I have my video card that shows you my exact different components here. And I have my other video card that's going to show you my other stuff here. And then we closed up our bracket here. And now all we have to do is go ahead and save that. I'm going to make sure I'm going to commit my changes. So we're going to say run 1. It really doesn't matter what I want to call it right now. We're going to save it, commit all changes, or press Control and then this squiggly line. And then I'm going to say npm run dev. I'm going to open up the local host. And then once you do that, you can see exactly what I'm saying, which is going to be learning React 1500 published and understanding TypeScript 800 published. Now we didn't do anything in CSS, which is why you see everything's very vanilla. So you saw those H1, right? So H1 does this by default. It does a very large bold heading. And then the other two were paragraphs, which is why you see it with smaller casing here, because they're just supporting elements within the body of it. And you could also do so many other things here too within CSS. You can italicize it, you can space them out a different way, endless opportunities there. But this is exactly how strings, numbers, and booleans work within TypeScript. So in the next video, what we're actually going to do is create a CSS file for all these cards, just so that we can spice it up a little bit, add some more flavor, and then allow you to see what you can really do within web designing. With that said, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.